Hey guys, before we start, I just want to say that I'm not super sure how to make a turning saw and this is just my first one. So maybe you can get one or two ideas from here, but this is not exactly a tutorial. So I hope you enjoy my video and please give me some suggestions to improve this. So there are multiple ways to cut the curves. In this one, you can use a saw and chisel out the waste. You can also use a coping saw. But here, I just used a scroll saw because I needed time. But you see, I'm cutting it a little oversized because I made the sketch a little bit too thin. I'm afraid it would snap. And I'm just tracing it around with a pencil and cutting that again. Just make sure that when you're drawing out your turning saw, don't make it too thin because it might not be able to handle the tension and it might snap. And here is where I'm worst at again, mortise and tenon joints. It's just that I don't really have that much measuring tools. I only have a cheap combination square. But it gets the job done in around 12 minutes. And I've sped it up to times 10. So here, I'm just cutting out another piece. Then, this is me trying to split it to the correct. Well, of course, you can rip it. It's more accurate, but like, this is pretty straight grained and I don't have a rip saw. A good rip saw, I meant. So, this is just me trying to split it again. It's pretty hard to split with a dull, low-quality hatchet. So, after a lot of tries, I just made the start with the chisel and then I was able to split it that way. Then, I just take really small shavings to just smooth out the whole thing. And here, I'm even worse at tenons because for some reason, it's always very loose or it's not centered. And I try different angles but none of them is comfortable because I guess they're easier to cut if you had one of those wooden vices. But it worked, except the joint is really loose. Because even though I cut a little oversized, I think I pare it too much. Because after paring, it's a little bit too loose. I should probably get a better tenon saw too, but this will work for now. So, see, I test fit it and it's loose. So, I paired it. And then after that, I needed to clean up the tenon because, like, things weren't straight. And it's a little bit oversized. And for some reason, after that, I accidentally made it too big now. And for some reason, I still kept going. I don't know why. Well, I kept on going because I actually thought that it had to be a loose tenon, to be honest. But now, after actual researching, I now know that it has to be tight. But it all works out in the end, at least. I skipped the other tenon because it was just another sped up, boring part because it just took so long. But here it is. This is just a 1/4 inch bandsaw blade that I've drilled a hole in. Yeah, I bought a bandsaw blade even though I don't have a bandsaw, but It's for this turning saw. And the frame saw that you see at the back, it was just an experiment. I know. It's because I just said in the intro that like this is my first try. But yeah, that's different and I don't like that. It's just, yeah, like I said, it's an experiment. But this turning saw will come out better than that. So here comes the tricky part of making a tensioning system. I'm just cutting out a slat of wood to act as the tensioning device that can tension the frames, the turning saw I meant. And so here I wrap it around a few times, and then once it's already like tight in there, then you can just tie a knot. But I kinda like to do a lot because this is thin string and I don't want it to snap. And use the slat and just twist it in there and make it rest against the middle part of the saw. I forgot what it's called. So this is the first time of me using this thing, and at first I thought it was the tension, it was too loose, but like I was just underestimating on, I was overestimating on how tight curves a 1/4 inch blade can cut. But even though it can't cut the tightest curves, it could still come in handy. So yeah, it's just me getting used to this thing because I never used it before. And I'm just cutting a semicircle on a scrap board. Why do I keep saying random words today? These are actually simple to use. It just looks hard because I don't know what I'm doing and I've never used one before. But like other tools, with some practice, you can get the hang of it. And here, I kinda know what I'm doing now, but still not really. So, my second try, it took me half as much of the time as I did in my first try. And I think you can see that red dowel with sandpaper. And that's to round over the not really the handle, because you don't really grip the handle that much, but like the frame, you round it over so that it's comfortable to hold. I wasn't able to film myself rounding it over, but it's just simple. Just wrap sandpaper around the stick or a dowel and start to just sand the corners off. So the bandsaw blade that I have is actually a 60 PI blade. So it's a rough cutter and it cuts fast. But of course, you can get a finer blade if you want yours to be finer. But this is what I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.